Hello and welcome to yet another episode of wait for it, 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 wait for it. Maza Bitcoin. Today we have a Bitcoin price of roughly 8,200. If you look on that side of the island, you've got Vin Pearl, which was beautiful riding into Nha Trang last night because I can see the island of Vin Pearl from a different angle. This is roughly, I would say, I don't know if it's fifth or sixth time of being in this city. Maybe the sixth time. Definitely more than four, so I'd say about six or five. And man, I can't say so many good things about it. So much the sandy beach. This beach is mind-blowing. And what typically happens is the northern side of the beach, right? The northern side of the beach is typically filled with Vietnamese local people, and then this side of the beach, which goes on for, I would say, 3 kilometers, the best part of this beach, so maybe a couple of US miles, is filled with Russian people and other foreigners. And sometimes they mix and match, of course, and sometimes they kind of do their own thing in their own little sections. But it's just a mind-blowing part of the world. It really is fantastic. And so the traffic and so forth, there's a main thoroughfare behind me. You'll see all the cars going by there. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place in the world. One of my favorite on the entire planet. You just have to come to check it out and enjoy the low overhead and the beautiful people. And there's a large Russian population running their own businesses here in Vietnam. And so today, at this point in the game, something I'd like to discuss really quickly has to do with the upgrade of something called Schnorr signatures and Taproot in Bitcoin. So as we know, Bitcoin is a technology and it can constantly be improved upon, which it is and has been for years in its 11-year existence. Other monies, we can name a money like gold or paper fiat currency. They cannot be improved upon. The code in paper fiat currencies, there is no code. It's just a piece of paper, and they're issued when any particular government wants to issue more of it. So understanding that the use and credibility of Bitcoin itself improves over time. Here comes a public announcement. I remember these. I haven't heard this in a while, but they're going to get on the loudspeaker. Remember, we're in a communist country. And they're going to say, "It's time to not be on the beach." Here it comes. Well, maybe it's coming. I remember them doing this. So let me get a closer up across the ocean there. That's an island called Vin Pearl. I don't know if you can see it. And there's a Ferris wheel, and it's an amusement park. All the times I've been here, I've never gone to Vin Pearl. Now that is I think they call it a gondola or an air tram. And those 4 pillars you see are shaped like they're shaped like the Paris the Eiffel Tower. So there's 4 Eiffel Towers. They're holding up the gondola, and there's a 5th one behind the hill there you can't really see, and a 6th as well. So it's just a beautiful scene. Really something people should come visit and see Vietnam and all its beauty and what it's all about. So quickly back to Bitcoin, and that thing that I was just discussing was the fact that its code and its usability of Bitcoin in every facet has been being worked on and improved on throughout its 11-year history. So they do it slowly, and before anything's ever added to the code of Bitcoin, it needs to pass rigorous years of testing from different coders to make sure if you add it to the base code that it has no bugs. So something called Taproot and Schnorr signatures is something they've been considering adding to the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin base layer. Now, if this happens, there will be a soft fork. What's interesting about Bitcoin and all of its other small currencies is that when it forks, you can always go back and use the original. Basically, Bitcoin is a vote, and Bitcoin was the very first initial vote. It's a chain of transactions. And then there were other chains of transactions that came off of the original Bitcoin code. And when I say vote, I mean people are free to use the original 21 million in scarcity Bitcoin code. They're free to use that. Or they are free to use any other code that they feel more comfortable using, i.e. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. You could even use Ethereum to make transactions, Monero, which is a privacy coin, Zcash, Zcash is another privacy coin, so on and so forth. And we can all use whichever code makes you the most comfortable. So when I say Bitcoin is a vote, what I mean by that is you're not forced to do anything in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is absolutely voluntary. So the beauty of it is if you choose to use the original, then you use the original. If you choose to use another coin or protocol or technology, you are welcome to use that coin, protocol, or technology. But so far in Bitcoin's life, the safest storage of value that we humans have chosen so far, we've chosen it, is Bitcoin. And so I think this will be known later on in life. People will begin to understand and see that Bitcoin is a choice. It's an opt-out of the world's monetary system, meaning you are choosing something that is a technology that is not controlled by governments. That's all. It's a choice. And that's part of the entire Bitcoin movement, is choice. The freedom of choice, the freedom of choosing what code you use, the freedom of choosing what form of exchange, which is also a language that you choose to use. It's a choice. It's not enforced by men with guns, as Paul Krugman says, and he writes for the New York Times and claims that Bitcoin is a scam. Obviously, if you do the paperwork and you do the research behind Paul Krugman, you'll see that he has a lot of vested interest in keeping the status quo and keeping the system the way it is, because he's part of the central banking elite. And the elite are elite because they control a lot of people, and they wish to keep their power and maintain and expand their power. So what I want to get through to this video is Bitcoin is simply a choice. And as we humans get older, we see that we value choice, and we value the freedom to choose. And that's why you have so many other choices in Bitcoin other than Bitcoin. And you can choose to store your value in other types of protocols if you think it's better. Bitcoin is the first, it's the original, and it's the one that's been adopted by many of the central banks around the world. They're mining it at this point. We all know that. They have never made any public announcements that they are mining it, but huge institutions like Grayscale have. And when you have BlackRock and Grayscale and Ivy League universities like Yale University investing massive funds, their endowments, into Bitcoin, admittedly, they don't do this to lose money. And so I'll wrap this video up. Maybe, I'm not sure what I'll name this video, but Bitcoin is freedom of choice and not forced. You're not forced to use it unless you think it's fit for use. as time goes by, it will become the world's default storage of value, as I've mentioned time and time again. It will reduce the number of war that we experience in this world and in our lifetime. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
They're good.
Where are you
Just
from?
making a video. I'm from the United States originally. Where are you from?
Well, I lived in Colorado for
Oh,
30
Colorado.
years.
Oh, you're from the States too. Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool. Let me just shut this camera off here. I just